Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sabrina and I'm back with another Excel tutorial for you. Now, if this is your first time here and you're looking to develop your Excel skills, then start now by subscribing and hitting that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any new videos. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use the sum function in Excel to add up a range of values. Now, there's two ways you can do this. There's two particular formulas that you can use, and I'm going to show you both. Now, as you can see on my spreadsheet, I've got a table of data here where you can see that each row displays a sales agent, okay? And for each sales agent, we can see the sales they made in Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, now what I've done here is I've just added an extra column, column J, and I've highlighted this column in sort of a goldy orangey color. And I want to basically display their total sales made for the entire year. So in simple terms, I want to add up all of the sales they made in each of the quarter, okay, and put the total sum in column J. All right. Now I can use a formula to do that. So the first formula that you could use is type equal. So remember, whenever you're entering a formula or a function, you always start with an equal sign. Okay. And there is a formula bar here at the top. This is our formula bar. Okay. So whatever you type, whatever formula you type, the formula will display here in the formula bar as well. Okay. So what you would do is you would type equal. You would then select the first cell that you want to add. So in our case, that's this cell here. So if I click on that cell, you'll notice that in the formula, it's added the cell reference number, which in this case is E3. You would then type plus, a plus sign, which is of course an indicator for adding. And then you would select the second cell. So in this case, it's Q2 sales. So you would click on that cell, and that will then put in the cell reference number. So this time it's put F3. And you would just continue doing the same thing. So this is one way of doing it. You could just use the plus sign and select the cells that you want to add. Okay, so here you can see I've selected 4 cell reference numbers and just put a plus sign in between each one of them to basically add up all the numbers. So this is one way of doing it. Now you can use this formula if you've got limited values, if you've got, a few cells that you want to add up. But if you have a large database or you have quite a lot of cells that you want to add up, then you would want to go for the sum function, all right? So here, once you've finished your formula and you've finished selecting your cells that you want to add, you would then hit the Enter key on your keyboard, and that will return your result, which is the total sum of all the cells that you added in the formula, okay? So that's the total sum of sales made in 2022. Okay, so that's one way of doing it, okay, is to use the plus sign and add and insert all the cell references. The alternative way is to use the sum function, especially if you've got a lot of cells that you want to add. Now, in order to delete this formula, you would just double click into that cell and you can just highlight that formula and just press delete on your keyboard, and that will delete the formula. Okay, so to use the sum function, now sum is a function. So basically in Excel, we have pre-made functions which have been developed by Microsoft, and they're already available in Microsoft Excel. So all you need to do is you just need to type in the name of the function and select your cell range. So what you would do for the sum function is you would type equal again. Okay, so remember all formulas start with an equal. You would then type the name of the function, which in this case is sum, so S-U-M, and you'll see that as I've typed that function, it's brought up a few suggestions at the bottom. okay? And you can already see there's quite a few options available for sum, and all of these functions, they do different things. But the one that we want is the first one. And I can already see, I mean, because it's selected, I can already see a pop-up box there where it tells me what this function will do. So it tells me here that this function will add up all the numbers in a range of cells. So what you would do then is once you've entered in the name of the function, you would then put an open bracket. So you would type open bracket like so, and then you would put in your cell range. Now, you can select individual cells, but if you've got quite a lot of cells, you would just want to type in the cell range. So cell range is basically a group of cells. Now, to select your cell range, what you could do is you could just click into the first cell. So you would click and hold your mouse. Okay, so click and hold the first cell, and then you would drag your mouse across and select the other cells that you want to add up until you reach the last one, and then you would release your mouse. So you'll see that in the formula, it's added a cell range, okay, which is E3 colon H3. So this formula is saying, take a sum of all the values in this cell range, okay, so from cell E3 to H3, okay. Now what you would do is once you've entered in your cell range, you need to then close your bracket. Okay, so you would type close bracket. And it's always important that if you've got an open bracket, you should also enter a closed bracket in order to finish the formula. Otherwise, the function will not work and it will return with an error message. So once you've put in a closed bracket, you would then press enter on your keyboard. And there you go. It returns the result, which is the total sum of these 4 cells, okay, which was our cell range. Now, one of the good things you can do here is you don't have to type that formula for all the rest of the cells at the bottom, okay? You can actually just copy and drag the formula down. So to copy and drag the formula down, what you would do is you would select the first cell with the formula in it, like this one, okay? And then you would need to click on the fill handle, which is basically a little green square in the bottom right-hand corner of that cell. Okay, so if you hover your mouse over that small green square, you'll see a black cross. Okay, when you see that black cross, now what you can do is you can double click on that black cross. And when you double click, the formula will basically copy down to the rest of the cells as it's done there. And you can see that when I select my second cell there, if you look at the formula bar, you'll see the formula. So you can see that the formula has been copied down and my cell range has also changed. Okay, so for the first cell, it was E3 to H3, but when you go down a cell, it changes the references to E4 to H4. So the formula knows that, in this next cell here, it needs to add these cells instead and not the top ones. Okay, so it doesn't copy the cell references exactly. Basically, this is called relative referencing. It changes the cell reference numbers based on the destination cell, okay, of where the formula is. Okay, so I will do a video on relative and absolute referencing as well. I'll try to explain the concept to you guys. Okay, so that's how you use the sum function to add up values in your Excel spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you this again, but using a large cell range. So say, as my second example, I wanted to add up all of these figures here for everyone. Okay, so all of the quarterly figures for every sales agent. right? So I basically want a grand total of all the sales made, you know, for each person, and I want to add them all together. So what you would do is, I'm just going to click into this cell here and put the grand total there. So you would type equal. This is a nice refresher for you. You would then type the name of the function, which is sum, open bracket, and now we need to select our cell range. Now, my cell range is quite big here because I've got a lot of values to add. So what you would do is you would select the first cell that you want to add, which is this one here. So you would select and hold your mouse, and then you would drag your mouse and select all the rest of the cells that you want to add. Okay, so you can see here I'm just highlighting all the cells like so. Okay, and that's the last cell there. So you can actually highlight the cells in this way, or what you could do is in the formula, you can see that it's inputted the cell range. So the first cell is E3, which is this one. And in the cell range, the last one is H52, which is the last cell, which is this one. So what you could do is you could manually enter in this cell range. So you could basically look at the first cell and see what cell reference number it is, and then go down to the last cell and look at the cell reference number, and then just manually enter it in. So for example, let me show you how you would do that manually. So if I just delete that, you would just type E3 colon, and then the last cell was H52. Okay, and there you go. So it's highlighted that range for you as well as I typed it in manually. So you can do it, you can either highlight the cells or you can type in the cell reference numbers, the first cell reference number and the last cell reference number manually. Okay, and that works well, especially if you've got quite a large database of values to add up. So once you've inserted your cell range, you need to make sure you close your brackets. So you would put in a closed bracket there and then press enter on your keyboard. Okay, and there you go. That's our grand total there. Okay, so that's how you use the sum function. I hope that's helped. If it has helped, please do like and share the video so that it can reach out to more people. And do consider